What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. Today we are revisiting a gun that I covered on the channel a long time ago, back in 2016, when there were less than 500 subscribers here on the channel. We've come a long way since then, so first of all, thank you to everyone who is new here since that video, which is pretty much everyone. And if you are new here, consider clicking subscribe because I make videos like this every single week. Now, the gun we're taking a look at is, of course, the beautiful Desert Eagle chambered in 50 AE, but now I've got one in the all black everything type of fashion because why not? Now, what can I say about this thing that hasn't been said a million times already? It's been a staple in movies, TV shows, video games, and of course, rap songs. There's just something about the aesthetics and raw power of a Desert Eagle that makes a lot of people gravitate towards it and all of its hand cannon glory. There are a ton of different customization options that you can choose from right through Magnum research, like different calibers, barrels, flutings, grips, finishes, brakes, and of course the rail on top, which you could put almost anything on. This black on black tiger stripe finish definitely suits my personality a bit better than the old stainless one, so obviously this was a much needed upgrade. So what makes this thing so great? Well, it is known as the pistol chambering the largest centerfire cartridge of any magazine-fed self-loading pistol on the market, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. It uses a gas-operated piston mechanism similar to one that you may find in rifles, which redirects gases down and backwards to cycle the slide, eject a spent casing, and chamber a new round. It is of course hammer-fired, has an ambidextrous safety, blacked-out sights, rubberized grips, and comes with a metal magazine holding 8 rounds for the 44 version or 7 in this 50 AE version. Now, since I have reviewed this gun already, we're gonna have a little bit more fun with the review on this one here today. I do, of course, have my standard steel targets behind me, but I brought some other stuff up here that is gonna be pretty fun to shoot, but it's also gonna get fairly messy at the same time. We're gonna be shooting some massive 300 grain Action Express. I think I should probably shoot like this during the video because this just feels right. So let me load up a mag in the new one, put one magazine down, 7 rounds, and then I will come back and give you guys a first mag impression. All right, here we have the massive 300 grain Hornadies in here, 7 rounds of it. It's been a while since I've shot the Desert Eagle, so it may take a little bit of getting used to again. Whew, such a big round. Oh my God. You see that? Look at the target. Damn it. Alright, I gotta show you guys what just happened. Well, everything was fine and dandy on these other targets. This one has seen better days. I don't know if I actually hit the 2x4 or if it was just beat up. I mean, you can tell I've got probably 1,000 rifle rounds on here and the splatter is redirected down towards the ground. This target is heavy, so it just went right through there. I guess I'll have to watch back through the video and see if I actually hit it. I think I did, but these 2x4s have seen better days, so I guess it's time to replace them. Alright guys, back for my first mag impression with the new black tiger stripe Desert Eagle in 50 AE. I guess I'll just start with the basics, go over the sights, the grip, and what I would normally say about a more normal style gun. So as far as the grip goes, for someone with small hands, you're probably not going to have a great time shooting this. My hands are getting closer to the larger side, but even still, this grip is just massive in my hands. It points as naturally as a 4.5 pound unloaded gun can point for me. For me, when I pick this thing up and aim it out at a target, I kind of lose track of what I'm doing with like my regular pistol fundamentals, and I'm just thinking about how big that explosion's gonna be and how it's gonna destroy whatever I shoot it at. The sights, they are just black on black. Nothing too fancy going on here. They are metal sights, of course, because anything that is plastic on this gun would probably just kind of explode right off of it. And then, like I mentioned, there are a lot of different options when it comes to customizing one of these right from Magnum Research. This is, of course, the ideal setup for someone like myself. I like the all black everything from the sights to the rubberized grips. Even the magazine is black. The only thing that is not black on here is the little red dot on the safety indicator here. But there are a ton of different options out there. If you've never went over and checked out their site, I'd recommend doing it. It's basically like when you're putting together a brand new car and you're adding all of these options and things like that. So you could basically build your dream Desert Eagle and you can make them look pretty cool. You got the brakes, you got all the different slide finishes, you got different grips and whatnot. There's just so many things that you can do to these guns to make them your own. Now, as far as the function of this thing goes, like I mentioned, it is a hand cannon. I'll try to bring the camera in here a little bit to explain this piston system a little bit better. You can sort of see the piston system down here underneath the barrel. So what happens is, as a round is leaving the barrel, some gases are redirected down and back into that piston, thus cycling this massive slide on here. So as you can see, the barrel is fixed in position. The bolt, like I mentioned, is very similar to a rifle style bolt like on an AR-15. So when this thing closes up, that actually locks in that breech there and it keeps this thing secure. Now, for a brand new Desert Eagle, this slide actually feels way better than my previous one. It seems like it's tuned up a little bit more, definitely easier to manipulate. As far as the rest of the controls go, you can sort of get to that safety with one hand, but for the most part, you're gonna be taking that off with another hand. And I'm not cold slamming this thing, but my thumb falls very nicely on this slide stop here, so I can get up there and close that with no problem. There is no decocker or anything on here, so you will have to hold the hammer as you pull the trigger to let that hammer down lightly, or you can actually dry fire these things a little bit without hurting them too much. The trigger is something that we will talk about in the final impressions of this gun, and for now, let's put some new targets out there since I kind of destroyed the 2x4 on that last one. This is gonna be a lot of fun, but this is also where things get very messy, so let's just get this over with. That's a good replacement, right? All right, here we go. 50 AE versus a little cantaloupe. I think TA Targets should start selling those. You're a waste of good fruit. My hand's gonna be hurting at the end of this one. So I've had my original Desert Eagle for years, and the only thing that I ever really shot out of it was this Hornady 300 grain XTP. These hollow points, they're really easy to find and they're pretty much everywhere. Massive round there. Well, now I'm gonna try out some 50 AE from Magnum themselves. This is what the rounds look like, and this is what it looks like next to a 22 long rifle. Pretty big difference there. Testing out these rounds now from Magnum Research. These are 350 grain bullets coming out of here now. Got a little bit of a distance. Not sure if I'm gonna be super accurate, but we'll see what we can do. Whew. These rounds are hitting me right in the head. right, those are not as pleasant. Hopefully I'm not bleeding. Some of those casings are hitting me right in the head. But I still got more of the 350s. That's enough of those. Pineapple soda. Who the hell even drinks that stuff anyway? Not as messy as I thought that would be. Thing's coming out so fast that it doesn't really have time to expand and it just kind of blows right through it. How about an orange target? This one's more my speed. That one's a little nicer. Bugs are gonna have a field day up here. How about we one-hand some cantaloupe? I'm sure the deer up here will appreciate this one. Free cantaloupe for everyone. Bugs everywhere now. All right, I said I would do this, so I guess it's only right. One-handed, left-handed, 50 AE. We'll see how it goes, I guess. Oh, man. Just throwing those bullets. All right, guys, back for some of my final thoughts on my new Magnum Research Desert Eagle in 50 AE. What else can I really say about it that I haven't said before or that literally everyone in the world has said about this gun? It's just awesome. Practicality-wise, when some people ask what this thing is good for, a lot of people would typically respond if an intruder breaks into your neighbor's house and hides behind their fridge. Desert Eagle should be able to do the job with something like that. But in all seriousness, you probably could hunt with a gun like this. You could throw some type of optic, scope, red dot, something on top of there. And if you're putting down something that's huge and for some reason you want to hunt in style, you could probably do it with something like this. But for myself and most people, the Desert Eagle is just kind of one of those things that's fun to own, to bring out and let people shoot. It's basically in the same category for me as like a 50 BMG. Now that I have close to 100 rounds through this thing, the action is smoother than ever. Manipulating this one is a lot easier than manipulating my other one. The safety I can actually put on and off with my thumb on this one. The other one's a little bit sticky, maybe because it's an older model. And there's still a few other things that kind of stuck out to me about this gun, one of them being the actual tiger stripe finish on here. If you look at it, it looks sort of sporadic and all over the place, but if you take note, especially from the top and bottom sides of this gun, the print is actually completely symmetrical all around the front, side, underneath. Wherever you look at it, it mirrors it on the other side. I'm a little OCD when it comes to guns, and now I'm definitely gonna have to clean this thing because there's cantaloupe and soda all over it. But I really enjoy that touch, how everything is completely symmetrical on this gun. Another thing to mention that comes to mind is the 350 grain Magnum Research ammo versus that Hornady 300 grain. With the 350s, they were coming out and smacking me right in the forehead. I've actually heard of people talking about this in the past, but I never experienced it because I've always shot the Hornady ammo. I've actually heard stories of guys going to the range, bringing this thing out and shooting specific types of ammo, and it coming back and hitting them in the head, causing them to bleed. I've heard this on multiple occasions, and that was the first time that I ever experienced the ejection pattern hitting me in the head like that with a 350 grain. So in the future, I will probably stick with that Hornady 300, but that's just me. Now for the trigger, this is where I believe the older Desert Eagle that I have actually kind of one-ups this one. Granted, this one is brand new and probably needs to break in a little bit, but If we take a closer look at this trigger, there's a little bit of pre-travel there, a little bit of a take-up, kind of gritty as of right now, and then you get that brake. The brake is fairly nice. Reset you typically don't really feel on a gun like this because it's just blowing back, but slowly let out. It's audible, you can't really feel it in your finger though. And then again, through that gritty take-up, and then a brake. Now, I'm definitely not gonna knock the Desert Eagle for the trigger. I mean, it is what it is, and like I said, the other one is better, so once they break in, they definitely get a little bit smoothed out, and if you take it back to a distance, you can probably be fairly accurate with it. However, because I'm not used to this exact trigger, I was definitely anticipating some of the shots of that 50 AE. It's kind of hard to not do that when you're not shooting massive rounds like that all the time. But if you're really focusing on your shots and you want to be accurate with this thing, you can really focus down on that front sight post. You get a nice smooth trigger pull back to the wall, and you can definitely lay some shots down at a pretty good distance. You can also land some pretty good shots from about point blank into 2-liter soda bottles, which is what I'm going to be using this thing for pretty much the rest of its life. And there's actually a lot of cool things that I could see myself doing with this. I'll actually leave this one up to you guys. What would you like to see me shoot with a 50 AE? I know it's been done a million times over and over again on the internet, but maybe we can come up with something a little bit more fun to shoot and see what a 300 or 350 grain bullet would do to it. So that's all that I really got for today. I'm glad I finally gave the Desert Eagle another shot at a proper Sunday gun day. If you guys have any questions on this thing, feel free to let me know in the comments down below, and I will try to answer anything that is sort of niche. Like I mentioned, I covered this gun a while ago, and there's so much information out there on them, so whatever you're asking is probably not too hard to find with a simple Google search. Again, I would definitely recommend checking out the Magnum Research site, where you can actually modify these things and customize them to however you want them to look. Now that I got the stainless and the black on black tiger stripe, maybe it's only right that I go with a gold tiger stripe next. How many Desert Eagles can someone own? I mean, I guess there's really no limit on that, huh? So I guess that's it for now. If you are new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every week, and that's going to be all for today. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one.